This is the 905 podcast. I'm Savannah alongside Charles. How you feeling, Charles?
I'm feeling fantastic. Ready for another great show.
Me too. Today we got Jalen Harris on. What do you know about him?
He's a baller. He's a big-time baller. He's a really interesting cat. I think it's going to be a great interview.
I think so too. I know just from previous research, both his parents played at the same university. His mom was balling out when she was even pregnant there, had a kid, came back, set records. So I'm very interested to hear his story because he comes from a long line of ballers.
Listen, if he wasn't destined to be in the NBA, I don't know who was. He's really interesting. I think people are going to be blown away by some of the things they learn about him. And obviously the Raptors two-way. What an incredible journey. Looking forward to sharing it.
Joining us today is Jalen Harris, two-way player and rookie on the Raptors, but he's joining us here on the Raptors 905 podcast as we'll see him throughout the season. Jalen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Looking forward to unpacking your journey.
Yeah, absolutely, Jalen. I'm pretty excited to chat with you today. I want to jump right in. We're going to start kind of on draft night, right? What's that like? What was that like for you?
Draft night was pretty crazy night. I can't say a bunch of people, clearly because of COVID, but I had family, close people around. It was a once in a lifetime experience, man, for sure. It was great.
What was the emotions like on draft night? Because, being picked number 59th, I'm sure that you're maybe a little anxious at times. Take me through, how were you feeling?
Oh yeah, it was definitely it was a long night. It was a lot of waiting, a lot of I spent a lot of time with my family though. I'll say I got to hang out with the people around me some, but it was a little anxious. It was a little nervous at times, but I just remember when it happened, and it was a feeling that I'll never forget.
Talk about the, for those that don't know, we've gotten to watch the draft in its typical form, right? The way it's gone and people in the green rooms and all that. Obviously, this one was very different, right? Because you're at home. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming they sent stuff, or I don't know how you sort of get put on. Tell us a little bit about what that experience is like, and what that day is like. You wake up in the morning. Did you sleep at night? What was that like?
Yeah, it was a long night the night before. I didn't really sleep too much. They sent me like a box full of kind of like lights and like technical stuff to, they sent me a phone, they sent me like a speaker, like all types of stuff to get set up for the night. But it was the night before, like I said, I didn't sleep much. The whole day was just getting ready, getting haircuts, getting, dressed, getting all that type of stuff, getting food ready. And so it was different. It was definitely different than normal, but I'm appreciative, to have gone through it.
Did it ever cross your mind that potentially you may have not been drafted? And if it did cross your mind, approximately when was that?
I kind of knew, throughout the process that it could go either way. That it could be, I could get drafted, or I could end up not being drafted. And so going into the night, clearly I know how I felt about it. Like I felt, good about being drafted and being confident in that piece. But it was just, like I said, like it was anxious. There was some anxiety in there at times, but I think it all worked out for the best, for sure.
And as those picks are going by, tell me what's the feeling? I know you're saying you're getting anxious. What are people saying to you? Does it help? Does it worse? Are there, arguments, or you just sort of believe in? You just said it. You believe in yourself.
Yeah, it's more of clearly I believe in myself, and my people believe in me, and so I think a lot of it was more, looking at them and. Kind of the feeling whenever you feel, like I said, in myself and I play it. So that's how I was kind of looking at each pick go by. But, I just, like I said, don't worry about that. I just focus on mine whenever the time came.
And when your name was finally called, how did that feel?
It was ecstatic. It was actually a little funny story. My TV, the only pick, I guess, I was the only pick that like my TV started tripping. So I was a little I was probably like 10 seconds behind everybody else. So people are texting me, calling me before my TV even gets the net, it even calls my name. So I'm just, I'm hearing it from my phone first. And then once my TV kind of, I guess the connection and stuff got right. And that's whenever I saw it on TV. So that was, it was crazy. It was different.
Who was the first
That's
person
a great story.
that you picked up the phone to?
I want to say it was one of my old high school teammates was probably the first person to text me. I'm kind of the way it's set up. Like they have us kind of like this. Like you have to sit in front of the camera for each pick, and if you get picked or whatever, and you do whatever you got to do on the camera. And so I was kind of up before the pick. It's like 58th pick. So I get up to get something to drink, get a little snack, and then I look at my phone and my boy texts me and he's just like congrats, bro. Like have fun in Toronto, blah blah blah. And then I was like, whoa! I kind of ran back to the screen, and yeah, it was kind of unique for sure.
That OJ almost made you miss your moment,
right? For real.
Listen, you were built for this clearly, right? Mm-hmm. Both your parents played at SMU. I think that's pretty well known. Your mom was a stud. Your dad, same. Your mom's actually in the Hall of Fame at SMU. But your dad trains you now, right? He sort of helped you through that journey. Talk a little bit about that, not only from the basketball end, but how special is that to be working with your dad through this process?
I think it's special. I think that to be able to keep it in house, but two, just to have that consistent, consistent eyes. Like he see me from literally from birth until now. He knows, my deficiencies better than anybody. And he knows how good my strengths as much as anybody. And so I think he does a good job of, keeping it balanced between, at first I would say it was tough when I was younger. He was more coach, it felt like. But especially as I gotten older, I started to understand more. And, me and him have, we can have like real conversations about things and about, basketball for one. But I think that helps transition our into our regular life. I think having that basketball connection, I think that, it allows us to open up about different things too. We make those connections real well. Yes, sir.
Who wins a one-on-one game?
Me.
I heard. Well, I hope it's you.
Yeah. Especially now. I would say he got hurt a couple years ago and he ain't gonna play no more. That's what he says. But I think he knows. Mm-hmm.
That's just a cop out.
And I think that's what I'm saying. I think he knows. He ain't really hurt like that.
I heard he was still doing, as of a couple of years ago, I heard you say he's still doing trick dunks. Is that true?
Yes. And I remember I might have just got out of high school, my first or second year in college. I was back in the summer, working out with him. And he was just trying to be funny, I guess. It was on his 40th birthday. He went up and did some, windmill, actually, is what it was. But it was surprising. That's what I'm saying. It was surprising to me considering he's too hurt to play. You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess he still got a little something.
I was going to say, he's out here doing windmills and he's trying to say that he's hurt. Okay, if he didn't hurt himself on the windmill, he ain't hurt. You see, exactly. But clearly basketball, obviously, like runs through your blood, as we just talked about your dad and like your mom. She was pregnant while playing at SMU. And then she's also in the Hall of Fame. So shout out to moms there.
Yeah.
How did they feel when they heard their son's name being called?
I think it was more, like I said, I was pretty excited, but I think for them, it was probably even more exciting. I think that, when my dad both of them, honestly, seeing me from where I kind of came from, the things I've had to go through, I think they, on the outside looking in, they can see it and appreciate it more than, I do sometimes kind of just going through it, being in emotions. And so I think for them, seeing that for me was pretty special, for sure.
Well, they certainly would have blazed the path, right, for you, your mom going through what she did to only come back stronger. If there's a better definition of grit out there, I don't know, let me know.
Right.
But that's definitely, laying the groundwork for you to get here. And will certainly probably, I'm imagining, is going to help you as you move through your career.
Definitely.
You get drafted. Who's the first call? Like, who do you get it from?
You said who was the first call? I talked to Masai. I talked to Masai. Well, there was a few of them text me, like they were all kind of calling and text me at first and at the same time similarly. And so I was I missed a couple calls, honestly, but then I called back, I'm talking to everybody. I talked to Masai, I talked to Bobby, I talked to and I talked to more people to get my schedule and stuff together and all that stuff. But yeah, once I got drafted, it was quick turnaround, for sure.
You were smart to take that call from Masai first.
Yeah, right.
All right. So have you ever been to Toronto or even Canada before?
I have not. I have not. I will say, I kind of, before the draft, like, so my agency, kind of the head guy, and most of the players are in Canada, from Canada. So even before the draft, like, I was meeting Canadian people. I was, kind of seeing the culture a little bit. So I think I'm, a little more knowledgeable than where I would have been beforehand. I'll say that, but. Well, it's kind of the slang. I've heard about the slang, the way they talk a little different. I like it a little bit. It's kind of cool. I'll hear about the food, hear about milk in the bag or something like that. It's a few different things.
Well, hold on. Milk in the bag. I know I've heard this so often. Is it not sold anywhere in the States?
No, we don't. Nowhere. We drink milk out of. I might have a carton in my fridge. We got milk cartons.
Let's see it. You got a carton in there?
I got a small one. We got like a little breakfast cart. This is how we drink milk out of the box.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We still have the small boxes. Yeah, we still have the small ones. We got the small ones. We got big ones, but we also, like, our primary one is the bag milk. Who's been teaching you slang, though? That's what I want to know. Who's teaching you the slang in here? Because you got to learn it right.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I haven't been taught. I've been around it. I hear it. Like, some of my guys, like, Justin Jackson's one guy. I've been around O'Shea when he was here. He's also with my agency. I've been around O'Shea a lot. And then just, some of the guys, that were on the team, just my agent, as I'm like, just kind of being around everybody, just hearing them talk is a little, I don't know, it's a little more loose is the word I would say. It's a little loose.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to O'Shea Brissett, Canadian and former 905er. Okay, so you now get to camp, right? Where do you go? There's all this crazy. You get a million phone calls and texts, and they're setting up your flights and all this. Where do you go? Who do you meet? Take us through that process. What do you pack? How is that whole thing? What does it look like? How crazy?
Yeah, so it was crazy. So like I said, we got drafted. It was maybe like a Thursday, I think, Thursday or Wednesday or something. And then the next day, like, I was on a flight out we went to LA. We had like a mini camp. And so we flew out the very next night. So that night I packed, that night and the next morning I packed, I hopped on a flight, got to LA that next day. And then, we got to work. We started working. We were in LA for about a week, maybe a little over a week, went home for Thanksgiving. And then flew out to Tampa right after that. We got, I want to say, 3 or 4 days at home, and then flew out to Tampa, and been getting to it since.
Jalen, I want to go back a little bit, because this year was especially different. This was one of the first years of its kind. Virtual draft pre-workouts with the NBA. What was that like? Take us through that, because you performed well. You finished top 10 in every category.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a little different for sure. So we can make the way they said, the NBA said you could do it was you can make a 45-minute video with you and one trainer and one ball or something. Like, it's limited people. You have one person behind the camera. Like, you can't have, a lot of people. And so you kind of have to make a full 45-minute workout that way. You can do that on your own. And then they gave us a day to go into wherever your home market is. So for me, I went into the Mavericks facility. And then you do kind of all the combine tests, all the physical testing, and then they put you through like 5 shooting workouts. And so you spend about 2 hours or so in there, but you get to, it's a bunch of strange rules they gave us. And yeah, it was different. It was a lot different than normal years.
And so from a combine perspective, are you preparing any differently? Is it less pressure? Because, in the combine, when everybody's around and there's people everywhere, is it different? I know you haven't really experienced that, but you have an idea of what it's about. What do you think in terms of the differences there?
I couldn't tell you as much about, like, if it was, I would think it was tougher doing it the way we did it this year, just because it was the first time. Nobody kind of really knew, we didn't know what to do. It was kind of just, I don't know, we were just kind of going as it, doing as it went. But normal years, it's more structured. Everybody's around. You kind of know how it goes relatively. Like, I think that was the thing that made it probably more difficult, more pressure. It felt more pressure because you just don't know. You don't really know what to do, what to expect, and so I think, having to make those adjustments was a major part of the draft process this year.
And the 45-minute video, like, was it just a straight video, like hit play and then like just keep recording, or was it like just edited out to like the best parts of your training schedule?
No, it was straight. That's what as part of the rules is, we were trying to figure out could it be edited or could it be stopped or all these different things, but it had to be straight 45 minutes, no stops, no cuts, nothing. And so they want to see everything. They want to see all the makes, all the misses. And so I think for us, the way I kind of went about it, we probably did it, I don't know, 20 times, 30, like consistently, like just kind of you got to get in a routine. You had to get in a, because you want to record every day and get clearly your best work, but you also want to, you want it to be, you got to learn the routine. And like, it was different. It was difficult this year, I'd say, but I got it done. I think we put out some good product for sure.
Yeah, you don't want those lulls in between, or you want it looking smooth, right? You have 45 minutes, exactly. And it's got to look right. That's interesting to hear that you practiced it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't take no water breaks in there.
Yeah, no, 45 minutes straight. Yeah, it was some real conditioning.
Good thing Pops has been, driving you from day one to get you ready for this, right? Like you look back,
exactly,
and you got to think of how worth it was.
Yeah. And that was the thing, what we kind of felt comfortable about, me, my dad, and my uncle, he also trains me, but like was the fact that, we've kind of been doing it like that forever. It's always been me, him, and then a ball. Like, and so for us, I'll say we felt more comfortable in that piece, being able to put together our, kind of our best work going into it.
How was the transition? Okay, so now that you've been drafted, there was no summer league. It's really just getting thrown into the fire, like straight up in preseason. And how was it? And they're not playing in front of your home market anymore. How have you transitioned through all of this?
It's just been a bunch of adjustments. I think that's been kind of the name of the game, being able to adjust on the fly and be able to, because it's not a normal year. Like you said, we came into it, they threw us in the training camp. They start calling out plays before showing us the plays, and so. For example, like that's just how it was. We were just flying into it. And so I think that was kind of the thing, just trying to pick up on things as quickly as possible, making changes, being able to just do things on the fly. I think that was kind of the biggest piece for us.
I can say that having been in some of those camps and been in LA, like they do move fast, and there is no sort of a adjustment period. You got to figure it out. But again, back to clearly you were built for this. Moving back from LA to then Tampa and to training camp, what were some of the adjustments from college to the pros?
Well, I'll say besides, because there's some basketball things like technique wise and system based things that are a lot different. But I'll say like the terminology is one thing that's big, and then kind of the movement. Like in college, you don't really get taught some of the things that some of the the higher level movement system patterns or whatever that we do at these levels. So like one thing like cutting and knowing when to cut, how to cut, like just different small things like that are things that you don't really get taught much in college. You kind of just play basically. But I think the attention to detail is what kind of the biggest thing in camp was.
When you got drafted, go ahead, Charles.
Go ahead. I just want to follow up on the college piece there. You talked about, because you started at Louisiana, right, and transferred. Can you touch on that as much as you're comfortable? Sort of, why the transfer and what some of the differences were there. I'm interested to know. Sort of, you talked about just playing, the cutting, the detail. I agree with you. Terminology like almost blew my mind in my first year. Sort of what was that like in all three places, and especially at the college level?
Yeah. So Louisiana Tech, I spent a year and a half there. And so, I ended up transferring because, ultimately the goal was to be in the NBA, become a professional basketball player. And so for me, I just thought, that wasn't going to be, my route there, basically, is what I thought. I feel like there was a better situation out there. And so I got my release, talked to my people, got my release. And then Coach Musselman he was in Nevada at the time. He's at Arkansas now. He recruited me to Nevada. So when I transferred, what kind of attracted me there was, we talked about the system things. Musk he was a NBA coach at one time. He taught I would say he kind of gave me a introduction to more of the NBA style, of offense and the way they play and some terminology things. And so that was kind of what attracted me, to go there, was to get that knowledge beforehand. And so I transferred there. I sat out there for a year. All right. Well, in total, I ended up sitting out for almost 2 years because I left at the midway point. So I sat out for, like I said, almost 2 years. After my sit out year, Coach Musselman ended up leaving. And so then we had Coach Alford come in from UCLA. And so he came in, he brought his own set of knowledge and skills and system stuff. And so I think that having those two guys, I don't think they could have prepared me better than anybody really. They were, I think I had a good preparation beforehand. And, I just think that they helped me with my adjustment to get here.
I was just going to say, the year gap when you had to sit out a year, it's excruciating because you want to be out there with your team, but at the same time, you get so much practice, like in preparation time, just to like refine skills and like see the court from a different perspective sometimes. So, it really does give you a bit of a launch pad there. Now,
Definitely.
Heading down to Tampa with the Toronto Raptors, were you informed at all if you're going to be spending more time with the Raptors or more time with the Raptors 905? What was the headspace going in?
Going into it, I knew I was going to be with, the Raptors originally. At the time, I want to say, I don't know if there was G League plans yet, in general about this year because of COVID or whatnot. I don't remember much talk about it, but I know going into camp, the goal is to stay with the main team, of course. And then as the season progressed and whatnot, just seeing how things turned out to get some more reps, learn the system more. They sent me down to the 905 just recently. And so, I kind of I try to stay where my feet are. And so wherever I'm at the front team, if I'm with the Raptors, then I'm thinking about, what I need to do with them and, just kind of the role there. Same thing if I'm with the 905. Since I've been down here, I've kind of switched my mindset and getting into that role that I need to play.
What was camp like for you? I mean, I think you were fortunate. I think you would agree, right? Like you got to be up there. Typically, a lot of guys get sent down right away. Obviously, it's a very different season, but you got to spend quite a bit of time up there. What did you take away early that you're bringing to the 905?
A lot of it was, I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, was the attention to detail, those small things. I think that focusing on those and keeping in those little things sharp, I think that's what, kind of separates people at this level from being, one of the bottom guys to average player to a great player, and so I think that that was one of the biggest things I learned early, watching those older guys and watching those vets.
Who did you sort of connect with? Who's the one did anyone take you under their wing? Like, what was that like? Who did you really bond with on the rap side?
I'd say, clearly a lot of the younger guys, but I'd say some of the vets like Norman was one for me because he actually played for Coach Alford, UCLA, and I played for him in Nevada. And so, we kind of had that connection before and, similar position, whatnot, similar style of playing. So I think that he was one that early on, he took me under. I think Kyle was, he's been a big help with me. And then I think DeAndre Bembry has been one who's kind of been one of those vets. He likes to mess with me. And so I'd say those guys really, they helped me in my time for sure.
What do you mean mess with you? What does he do?
He likes to, DB likes, send us on coffee runs and donuts and, he wants us to grab all the, his little things, like grab all the balls before the game starts and make sure they get their shots and just little stuff like that. He likes to make the rookies do.
Okay.
When you become a vet, will you be doing that to other people? I don't
think so. I'm gonna try not to, but I don't know. They like to. I don't know. They get real hungry whenever they get vets and become vets. Things become.
Talk us through your NBA debut against Charlotte and your first basket. How special was that for you?
It was good. It was I think for me, I didn't really think about it until afterwards. When I was in the game, I was kind of locked in, and I shot. Clearly I'm playing. I shot it and went in. I wasn't really thinking my first bucket. I was kind of thinking get back on defense. But after the game, it was exciting. You know what I mean? It was the first, your first professional bucket, and so I think that anybody would be super psyched about that one.
So as a player, and Savannah knows this super well too, that, you have those moments where the game is like sometimes going so fast in your mind and there's so many things going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's moments where it's like, obviously very slow. Like think about your
Yeah.
last years in Nevada, you were on cruise control, right?
Yeah.
Where are you, or where were you in those first few weeks? And sort of where are you now? In just first weeks of training camp with the Raps and through the regular season, and sort of, are you slowing down, or have you adjusted? Where are you to the NBA game?
Yeah, I think especially early on, it was definitely fast. I'd say I'm definitely slowing down now. I think, starting to, especially coming down here, starting to get more reps and get more of an understanding of the system, I think has helped. I think that, if I was, let's say 100, speed originally, probably down like 80, 85 right now, so I think that's just solid. I'm keeping a solid pace now. I'm starting to get more of an understanding. And yeah, definitely. It's definitely been a help.
Yeah, because you see that with a lot of players. Like, we've seen Fred put up 50 plus the other night. Like, the game is clearly slowed down, right?
Yeah.
For them. So pretty neat to see.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Let's talk about the transition now to the 905. How does it feel? Like, the 905 is a pretty established program. We've, come out with players like such as Fred VanVleet, such as Pascal Siakam. Like, how excited are you to be a part of this development program that has proven results?
I think that you said it right there was, they have results, they have proven, literally proven results. And so, that's just comforting to know, they take care of their people. They really, they invest in you, and they invest in the development, and they put a lot of good people around you to help you. And so I think, especially, when it happened, I couldn't have been more excited, whenever they called my name, knowing the situation I was going into, knowing that, they're known for doing this, for developing guys and making them into, Fred VanVleets and Pascal Siakams, like you said. And so I think that's definitely comforting for us.
So going into the bubble, what was your mindset? Because you didn't participate in the bubble last year. You're now there. You can't leave like Tampa.
Yeah.
You could, do what you had to do. What are some of the differences you've experienced both in the same season?
Man, it's tough. I'll say the worst. I say the worst. The toughest thing about the bubble is probably the food situation. Not being like, for me, I'm a picky eater. You know what I mean? I kind of keep things simple. You know what I mean? Don't do too much. And so I think that's, for me, that's the hardest part. They have a lot of exquisite food here. I'll say a lot of different things. And so for me, that was in quarantine, especially, was tough. I couldn't order food. That was kind of my thing. Like, I like DoorDash and Uber Eats and do all that stuff. And so not being able to do that in quarantine was tough. And so being able to do that now, I'll say, it's probably been good, but that's the toughest part for me, being in the bubble. I don't mind staying in the room. That's not hard for me.
You're a picky eater. What do you eat then? What's your go-to meal? If you could choose
keep it simple. I'd say my favorite food is chicken. It's my favorite animal. And I think that's just because you can do so much with it. You know what I mean? You can keep it, make some chicken tenders, you can make wings, you can get chicken sandwiches. You know what I mean? Like, you can have baked chicken, grilled chicken, jerk chicken. Like, I can go on for days. And so I think, that's my thing. I like the simple stuff. I don't really eat vegetables too much. I'm working on that. I'm working on it, but it's not really my, I get that from my dad. It's tough for me.
When you come to Toronto, you have to try the jerk chicken here. That's
for sure. I'm for sure. I like that. I like it. I hear y'all have good ramen too. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
I like ramen. Yep. I'm a ramen fan.
That's the best part about Toronto, is that, like, we're one of the most diverse cities in the world. So literally, like, anything you want, it's authentic, and it's like a stone throw outside your window.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not excited about the winter, but I'm definitely excited to get up there and see, Toronto in the summertime, and, when it's nice and beautiful out.
Get Chad Sanders to hook you up with one of those nice jackets he's got. He'll look after you when it comes to winter time.
Yeah. That's it.
He'll hook
I've
you.
Heard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard. I'm gonna need one.
How does it feel now that you're going to be competing for a G League championship? What's the goal here?
The goal is to win it, for sure. The goal is always to win, to max it out. But I think, personal goals, like I said, just to kind of get a better understanding of the system, get comfortable in there, and, try to, the goal is to figure out how to make this translate to the top level. And so I think that's going into it. It's kind of been, my mindset, just trying to learn as much as I can about it.
How has the camaraderie been so far?
In the bubble?
In the bubble. Yeah. How's it been so far getting to know?
It's been good. It's been good. I've spent the first 4 days in quarantine. So this is my third day out. So I've got to spend a couple of days with the guys now. I know a couple of them from camp. I know Henry and Alizé were at camp with me. And then Kevon, I actually played against Kevon in college. So I knew Kevon, through that. I actually almost transferred to his school when I got my release from Louisiana Tech. He was helping recruit me to Stephen F. Austin. So me and him have a nice special connection there. And so like I said, we got a good group though. We've been hanging out. There's a whole team between GP and Brian, all these guys that we got. I think that, we got a nice group. I'm excited.
What do you guys do when you're off the court?
I spend a lot of time chilling. I'm tired after practice and working out and stuff. We like to relax. I know a lot of those guys play the game. I have my game here, but I'm not up to date. I still got a PlayStation 4. I still have a PlayStation 4. I haven't been able to get a PlayStation 5. So I'm not playing the game. I've just been watching Netflix. Mm-hmm.
What's happening on Netflix? What are you watching on Netflix right now?
All right, let's say I watch Netflix. I watch them all. Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, all of it. Right. The best show I've seen recently is Snowfall. That's probably the best show I've seen. It's on Hulu. It's a great show. I've heard a lot. I just started Power. I know everybody watches Power, but I didn't watch it because I didn't like the hype behind it. But now I've been watching it, and it's actually pretty good. And so, I've been watching Power. I watch a lot of anime too. My teammates in Nevada put me onto some anime shows, and so I like those. Mm-hmm.
No way. Anime is where it's at these days, I tell you.
Yes.
What
100%.
anime shows are you watching?
So I'm waiting on the Attack on Titan, the next season to come out for that one. I've watched Naruto a few times. Hunter x Hunter. It's one Demon Slayer or something just got put on Netflix. I've heard good things, and so I got to start that one. But I watch a lot. I can keep going on. I watched One Punch Man, yeah. One Punch, yeah. All that. So
what drew you to anime? I haven't gotten into that. I know Paul Watson.
My guy Paul. Mm-hmm.
Paul's into that as well. Like I don't know about it. You, Savannah, you guys are gonna have to get me up to speed.
It's where it's at. He knows. Jalen, tell him.
Yes, I say anime. Like for me, I was the same way. I didn't really know much about it. I didn't think it was whatever until I actually, my teammates in Nevada actually sat down and was like, look, we're about to sit here and watch, a couple episodes of this. It was Naruto. Naruto was the first one that I started. And Naruto was like super long, right? Yes. Naruto is the gateway. Super long show, right? So I started it, and then I probably watched it 3 times now, all the way through. Like, yeah. It's
what
like
kind
that.
of long are we talking about? Like, is this 2 hours, 3 hours?
Oh no, each episode is probably like 20 minutes or so, but it's probably like 600. It's 600 episodes in Shippuden in the second one alone. In the second, and so it's a lot of episodes to watch, but it's great, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
This one more or less counts as an anime, more of maybe even like a cartoon, because it's kind of mainstream. But Avatar, have you watched that?
Mm-hmm. I watched some of it. I watched it more when I grew up, when it was first coming out when it was coming out on TV, like every whatever day. Like I was watching it some then. I'm trying to think of another one. You seen Death Note? I was a fan of Death Note. Death Note was really good.
I've heard so much on that. I haven't seen it yet.
Death Note is really good. That one's a quick one too, though. That's a good one. It's probably going for you to start with, Charles. Death Note's not bad.
I'm gonna have to take notes on this and get up on the first episode. I might do something tonight and try to get up to speed, Savannah, because Paul's been telling me about it. Paul Watson, shout out to him. He's been telling me about it forever, but I haven't dove into that arena yet.
Yeah, it's cool. It's going. Once you're in, you're good, but it'll come one day. Don't worry, man. You'll get engaged.
You got to sit me down like your teammates and say, "Hey, watch this one first."
Exactly. I'm trying to help you. Trust me.
Always when you least expect it too.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's got to talk about back on the floor. So yesterday, Charles and I were talking to your Chad Sanders, and not just him, but a ton of other people have described you as a phenomenal athlete. But athlete and athleticism aside, what do you feel like you're bringing to the table for the 905?
I think my versatility. I think I can do a lot on the court. From scoring the ball, I can create well for myself, create for others. I rebound well. I'm a big guard, so that kind of goes along with my athleticism. Yeah, big guard. And so I think like I said, that goes along with my athleticism. I've got a high IQ. Defensively, I can guard multiple positions. I'm long, got a good frame, and so I just think that bringing that to the team, I think I'll be able to help a lot.
What I'm already liking is like your confidence. You're just like, you're stating it like this, like, you're not being too humble or too passive, being like, yeah, I'm okay. Like you're kind of like, nah, I'm bringing this, like that already tells me that you are serious. You're in here, like you're trying to win this championship and get better.
Yes, ma'am. No, 100%.
I think the one thing that's clear is that the 905 do a pretty good job drafting, and I think you're one of those guys that there's no mistakes here. Like who you are. I think people, if they don't already know, are going to know who you are, and I'm looking forward to watching you continue to shine.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward.
I got to ask one question. You went into the bubble. There was one thing before you left. You said, I got to bring this in. I got to have it. What is it?
Oh, I'd say my speaker. That's probably number one. Clearly, besides my charger, my speaker would be number one. And my AirPods. Those two. My music devices. Yes, sir.
Spotify or Netflix?
You said Spotify or
I should say, okay, music streaming or any platform of video streaming.
Oh, that's tough. Those are my two. Like those are my top. Like so. I don't know. I couldn't. I need something else. You have to cancel something else. I can't. I need them both. Oh, that's tough. So what about like TV? Do I have regular TV shows?
You have cable, sure.
Okay. I would probably I'd have to cut Netflix and stuff though. I couldn't do no music. I love my music. I couldn't do no music.
What are we listening to? What are we listening to right now? What's in?
I listen to a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of like hip hop stuff. I listen to some underground music though, like some people who are not really, the Drakes and the the Weekends and the Lil Babies of the world, But I listen to a lot of diverse music as well. I think I've got a very good. I'm somebody you can trust with the ox. Is how I feel for sure.
Okay,
that's the standard, right?
Big statement, yeah, big statement. But standard. Trust me. Mm-hmm.
All right, Jalen, we can keep you here all day and talk to Charles. Do you have any more questions for him?
No, I'm. It was great to meet you, my brother. It was really nice chatting with you, and thanks for doing this.
Yes, no, I appreciate y'all having me on. It was good to meet y'all.
Great meeting you too. Pleasure to talk to you today and get to know you a lot better. We're looking forward to seeing you on the court, man.
Yes, ma'am. You and me both.
What a great interview with Jalen Harris. Charles, what did you take away from it?
I took a lot away. What an interesting guy, right? First of all, anime. Who knew? I knew nothing about it. I got to get up on it, obviously, but he's such a dynamic guy and a dynamic player. Looking forward to seeing more from him in the future.
Anime is where it's at. And apparently you could hand him the aux cord and trust him with your life with that, right?
That's big time. That's a big honor.
That's big. That's big. If I get the comments to say that, like I trust him now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. It is a lot of pressure. So if he could handle that, he could definitely handle the court in the G League. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the floor, that's for sure, and see what he got.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun watching his career.